If you're interested in supporting this work, you can support me on Patreon, and that will help me make more videos and more podcasts for you in the future. Click the link down below on Patreon, or I'll put the link up here in the corner to Patreon, so you can go there and become a patron supporter.
Get mantra and meditation MP3s at JasonGallant.ca.
The enlightenment path is about freedom. It's about realizing your nature is free. That limits that are imposed upon you are not true, especially your own limits of how you should experience this moment. Even the limitation of this truck making noise in the background. The silence within me is still there, regardless of whether this truck is making noise or not. But one day you'll realize that the freer you are, the closer to this innate nature that you are, the less that you'll settle for the imprisonment of your physicality. You'll see through the illusions of others and the suffering and the motive that is perpetuating their expectations or their ideals that they impose upon you. On the enlightenment path, you are choosing freedom, fulfillment, unconditionality as your God. The absolute of the absolute, the unconditional that is always here, that is what you are choosing to remember, to fall back into. But if there was a devil or a demon, if there was one such as that you could worship, the path towards that would be worshiping fear. In this world right now, you can see it quite clearly. People argue every day. They have fear about something, and they look for any fact that they can to back up their fear, instead of becoming free of the fear itself. Fear is a veil which always leads to irrationality. There's not a lot of rationality that goes on when someone is in panic or fear. The drowning swimmer is a classic example of this. They're in panic, fear, and they, a lot of times, will threaten the life of the person who is trying to save them. They're reaching and grasping so hard because they're not logically or strategically thinking in that moment of how to help themselves or anyone around them. They're overcome by a rational, primal nature of the body. This is not free will. So as you become free of any veil of fear within you, you become very practical. You see things closer and closer to as they are. There are less projections from you placed upon that which you witness. You will also see people who are stranded in fear. You will see how they project their fears upon you and try to place you inside the same prison that they are in. You see, a prison is reasonable to one who has always lived within one. A prison is only unreasonable to one who is free. So in the world right now, we have a lot of imprisoned people, a lot of people in suffering, who are trying to pull others into their same prison of suffering. And many times they're trying to match the physical environment to that. If you just follow logic, if you follow fear long enough, you will see that at some point it leads to absolute isolation. I mean, everything in your life is a danger. Your death is an eventuality. And the irrational mind and the fear that goes with it will find a way to get rid of every single experience in life to ensure absolute safety. If you really follow logic, you know you can't even walk outside your door without some risk of danger. As a spiritual aspirant, though, you will ask yourself, what is it all for if I am just isolated? I am safe. But who cares if I'm safe if nothing is happening? The soul doesn't dance in an environment like that. If the enlightenment process was to do such a thing as ground, it would look very much like expression, connection, celebration, passion, love, connection, on so many different ways. But fear is the antithesis of this. Fear only sees the risk in such things. Why have relationships if perhaps they break apart? Why enjoy one night of celebration when the next day there's no celebration at all? It only sees the opposite of any joyful movement of the soul. So if freedom is what you're seeking, fear cannot be the answer, because fear is the opposite of the self. Fear is limitation. Fear is projecting your mortality upon everything and saying, all that matters is my mortality, not the immortal self. If you truly knew you were immortal, perhaps the eventuality of death would not bother you so much. So to put things simply, be with your fear. Chant the Jaya mantra if that feels right to you. But before you act upon your fear and destroy all of your neighbors and community and everything around you because they pose a potential risk? Why not become free of your projection of fear first before making decisions, observations, or plans for your life? Because plans which emerge from freedom are absolutely infused with love and the divine self. Freedom begets freedom. And you will be amazed when souls are free what they are capable of. What intelligence naturally emerges from within them that bring to solutions to life's problems. So I hope this helps you on your spiritual journey. Take care for now.
Are you interested in working with a spiritual teacher in a formal setting? Well, perhaps the Wisdom Life School is for you. If you're interested in checking out what the Wisdom Life School is all about, just go to aratima.com.